FBI personnel eventually found Patel a jacket belonging to a female, because he's so tiny, special agent. But the director noticed 2 areas did not have Velcro patches attached, according to the agent. After 2 members of an FBI SWAT team took patches off their own uniforms and ran them over to Patel, he finally disembarked the aircraft, the report claims. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, and I have some absolutely shocking news that is going to shake you to your core. I promise nobody out there saw this coming, and that is that, yes, today, both the FBI's Kash Patel and Dan Bongino find themselves in incredibly hot water for what? More corruption and incompetence. Surprise! I told you, nobody could have seen this coming. Yeah. So what's going on? Well, a new scathing report has come out about Kash Patel specifically from a bunch of FBI agents who are now calling him, his coworkers, by the way, the Make-A-Wish director, because from what they're saying, all this guy has done in his tenure is to fly around on a private jet and going to wrestling matches and playing golf. He's essentially a Make-A-Wish kid. So that's good. And not only that, Dan Bongino, yes, an unfortunate new FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, pulled emails showing that he has been helping redact Epstein files since March. So, yeah, that's not good. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Helps the channel. Also, guys, for everybody out there who nominated me, I'm a nominee for the Gundy's Most Influential Man of the Year, I guess. So the voting starts today. If you want to vote for me, you can do it once a day. We'll have the link up here and pinned comment description. Head on over there if you want to support the effort. We'll see if we win. Who knows? Now, let's jump into the video. So let's get started. First thing we're going to talk about, yes, tough guy Dan Bongino, who came in. He's going to bring the FBI to its knees, reform it, reshape it, bring all these evil perps to justice. And it turns out he actually spent all his time just protecting PDFs. So great. Let's take a look. So yes, breaking. Newly released emails obtained through a FOIA, Freedom of Information Act request, revealed that Dan Bongino was approached in March to help redact and censor the Epstein files. All right, so this email that was actually requested by Dan Bongino, by the way, from the Information Management Division says, "Good talking with each of you yesterday. IMD is happy to support. I wanted to share below," which is all redacted, as you can see, "as we seek guidance from the GC on the types of redactions to apply to these documents so we can process the right way out the gate. Regardless, we are here and we're ready. Looking forward to welcoming NY and WFO to Winchester today. Shannon." And so what does all this mean? And I can't believe that he came out and admitted this. What this means is that Dan Bongino knew before he was ever even sworn in as Deputy FBI Director, tough guy Bongino, that the Epstein files were being redacted. And did he say anything to us about that? Did he raise the alarm? No, what he said was, day one, we're going to release the files. And let me get a little timeline here so we can remember what really happened. Okay, so I got the list here. It says February, if you may have remembered, Pam Bondi came out and said that she had the Epstein client list sitting on her desk. She had reviewed thousands of hours of film and video showing all the disgusting things that these perpetrators were doing to these poor women. And then in March, Dan Bongino gets access to the files and is well aware, as you can see, of all of the redactions going forward. And not only that, giving them advice on what to redact, as you can see per that email. And then what happens in July? July 7th rolls around, and what does Dan Bongino say? Dan says the Epstein client list doesn't exist. After we know now, based off of this email, that he had access to all of this before he ever even stepped in the door. Fast forward to October, it's a Democrat hoax. Fast forward to November, now the Epstein files exist again. Do you see how fucking corrupt this is? Everybody was hoping Bongino was going to be the one. He's behind the scenes, working to try to make sure the right things happen. And it turns out since before day one, this guy has been doing everything he can to help facilitate the redaction of the Epstein files. Yay. And I want to bring up some of Dan's old stuff here. This was in July, just a couple weeks after he said the Epstein client list never even existed, even though he's already seen it. He says, "During my tenure here as the FBI director, I have repeatedly relayed to you things that are happening that might not be immediately visible, but they are happening. You see the gaslighting that he's been doing this whole time. The director and I are committed to stamping out public corruption and the political weaponization of both law enforcement and intelligence operations. Is that kind of like the FBI director's girlfriend suing someone for basically freedom of speech because they criticized Israel? Is that what we mean by like political weaponization? Yeah, got it, Dan. It's a priority for us. But what I've learned in this course of our properly predicated and necessary investigations into these aforementioned matters has shocked me to my core. We cannot run a republic like this, and I'll never be the same after learning what I learned. Shocked him to his core. He'll never be the same. And then came out and said the Epstein files don't exist. All right. And as we all know, where are the Epstein files? Congress already voted to push it through. The president signed it. The Justice Department is refusing to release the files still. And why is that? Oh, that's right. No, the FBI quietly poured $1 million into overtime hours to scrub and redact the Epstein files, working under a project they literally labeled as the Special Redaction Project. And we just had Chris Patel, who was one of the highest-ranking FBI officials, was in the FBI for 25 years on the show the other day, asked him about exactly this, and he said, yeah, and actually this is public record. You can just go ahead and look at it. Whatever, if the FBI is using this for overtime hours, we can see it. So this is what's going on. They've had 10 months to redact the files, and now they're using their last 30 days in an all-hands-on-deck effort to redact everything in the Epstein client list. I thought, we talked about this with Chris, that what we were going to get out of this, we'd get some, some big throwaway names, maybe some Hollywood actors, some magicians, a couple low-level politicians. And you know what Chris Patel said to me? He said, wow, you really are optimistic, Nate. We're going to get nothing other than a redacted mess. And now that we know Dan Bongino has been aware of this since March and helping with this since March. Yeah, what do you think we're going to get out of this, guys? Nothing. Obviously nothing. Now, let's get into the second part of the video, because as we see Dan Bongino's corruption going on, we also have to look at the FBI in general. And it's struggling, as a new report has come out today that says the FBI is a rudderless ship, with Director Kash Patel in over his head, damning report by agents claim. Agents have shared scathing assessment of Patel's first 6 months in office after the president denied claims he is thinking of replacing him. Also, I want to make it clear, the amount of times Donald Trump said he is not going to replace someone, like he did with Mike Waltz, and then immediately replaced him like 2 weeks later, he's done this dozens of times. So just because Trump said he's not thinking of replacing Kash Patel, I think it's highly likely that this guy's going to go soon. But let's see what this report says. All right, it says here, the FBI is a rudderless ship under Director Kash Patel, who was described as being in over his head in a damning assessment by active duty and retired agents. Days after President Donald Trump denied reports he was considering ousting Patel from his post as FBI director, a group of 24 experienced agents has shared a scathing report detailing their thoughts on his first 6 months in office, due to be presented to the House and Senate Judiciary Committees later this week. The report obtained by the New York Post comes after Patel has faced the heat of his use of government aircraft for multiple personal trips, assigning a SWAT team to protect his girlfriend, and reported clashes with senior Trump administration officials. And then it says, unnamed special agents, some of whom have been with the Bureau for multiple decades, reported that Patel has neither the breadth of experience nor the bearing an FBI director needs to be successful, while his deputy, Dan Bongino, was described as something of a clown. Both of them roasted. Patel has not yet responded to the claims in the report, but Bongino dismissed them as gossipy nonsense in a post on X. Bongino says, a lot of people are very upset at the changes and reforms we made at the FBI. They will do anything to revert to the old ways of doing things, so they leak gossipy nonsense to the media outlets and journalists with a clear agenda, and they ignore the historic results and the significant reforms we instituted. What results have you had, Bongino? What the fuck are you talking about? You've done nothing. You've achieved nothing other than embarrassing the establishment of the FBI, and that's why you have former heads of the FBI, like Chris Patel, highly respected, coming out and dunking on you as well, because you're garbage. You have no idea what you're doing, and we all see it, and it's embarrassing for the Trump administration. That's why I'm shocked that he hasn't gotten rid of both of you by now. And guys, if Kash Patel didn't embarrass him himself enough with the "I'll see you in Valhalla, brother" Charlie Kirk nonsense, you got to hear this story. So this was right when the very first touchdown following the Charlie Kirk assassination in Provo, Utah. It says here, one agent also shared an anecdote from when One agent also shared an anecdote from when Patel touched down in Provo, Utah, following the fatal shooting of the conservative influencer, and reportedly refused to disembark the plane because he did not have his own FBI raid jacket with him. And Chris Biota talked about this, how stupid he looks wearing that jacket around. Like Chris said, he looks like he's a junior FBI agent. That's like an intern, by the way. It continues. FBI Director Kash Patel refused to step down from that plane without wearing the jacket. Alpha 99, this is the high-level FBI agent that's using a code word for his name that reported this, went on to say that many FBI special agents were busy working in the aftermath of the assassination of Kirk, and that the FBI personnel had to stop, ask around, and find an FBI raid jacket, a medium-sized one that would fit the FBI director. FBI personnel eventually found Patel a jacket belonging to a female, because he's so tiny, special agent, but the director noticed 2 areas did not have Velcro patches attached, according to the agent. 99 says FBI Director Kash Patel then reportedly said he would not leave the aircraft until he had 2 patches to cover those areas. After 2 members of an FBI SWAT team took patches off their own uniforms and ran them over to Patel, he finally disembarked the aircraft, the report claims. This guy is just a joke at this point. He's a meme. And I mean, Bongino essentially is now too. And again, this is not even the end of it, right? We got to look at his new nickname that he's got now. And yes, so it says Kash Patel's behavior as the FBI director has earned him a new nickname, according to the former special agent. All right, it says here, Kash Patel's questionable behavior while in post as the head of the FBI has earned him a new nickname, according to a former special agent. The nation's top law enforcement official has been referred to behind his back as the Make-A-Wish director for his alleged extravagant trips and activities, which often uses the agency's resources. In recent weeks, Patel has come under scrutiny for his government use of aircraft, the security detail assigned to his girlfriend, and conflicts with other senior administration members, among other things. And it says, so he flies to see Ovi, hockey star Alex Ovechkin, score the winning goal on a 757, a jet that he used for the Render Safe mission on to ready and dismantle a nuclear bomb, if it's found in the United States. Seems like a good use of that aircraft. He then goes on to UFC fights. He goes to Boondoggle Ranch, a private hunting ranch in Texas. During the government shutdown for 4 days, he goes to a golfing outing in Scotland with his buddies on the G5 jet. He then flies to Happy Valley to see his girlfriend singing the national anthem at a wrestling match. Sure glad this guy's focused on his job, right? You know, the director of the FBI. But don't worry, there's not a lot going on for the FBI to be looking into, like the Charlie Kirk assassination, the Epstein files, the DC attacks. Seems like there's a lot going on that he could be focused on, him and Bongino both. But I guess what they're most focused on is making sure that the Epstein files are redacted as possible. Great. So what I think is going to happen is that after Christmas and the holidays, you're going to see Kash Patel most likely be reassigned, because Trump doesn't actually fire loyalists. He does, but he reassigns them to make it not look so bad. You'll see him probably reassigned to some different non-relevant position like he did with Mike Waltz. Dan Bongino, who knows what's going to happen with him? I can't imagine he's actually going to be put in as director, because he's just as bad. And then Trump will replace both of these podcasters with someone who actually knows how to do the fucking job. But I don't have a whole lot of confidence in that, because this is basically just the cast of the Celebrity Apprentice that is working throughout the Trump administration at this point. Doesn't seem like any of these people can be taken seriously. So that's all I got for this one. Again, we'll have to wait about 8 minutes to see these 2 idiots step on their own dicks again. But for now, that's going to do it for this one. Catch you on the next one.